Hey everybody, my name's Jackie. I've been a personal trainer for about 14 years now, and my intention of starting this YouTube series is with working with clients. I've realized the fitness industry just can be so confusing. There's so much contradictory information out there, so many people offering quick fixes, and unfortunately that's really not the way that it works. However, I strongly believe fitness can be a part of everybody's life, and it can be a very enjoyable part of everybody's life. It's just you have to know how to do things the right way. So that's what I'm here for. Work out along with me. This is a 20-minute beginner level total body workout routine. If you have not worked out in a very long time, I would probably just start with 5-pound dumbbells to 10-pound dumbbells, somewhere in that range. We can always get heavier from there, but as you get started, the most important thing is form and making sure you have the right muscle engagement. So with that being said, follow along, go at your own pace, and feel free to comment and ask any questions if something I said didn't make sense or you're not quite sure if you're doing something the right way. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's get going here. We're gonna do 6 exercises, and that's gonna be one full circuit. It's gonna be a total body circuit. When we get to the very end, we're gonna take a 1-minute rest, and then we're gonna repeat the whole thing one more time. So exercise number 1 we're gonna do is for your lower body. We're gonna do a squat. Oftentimes when I first had people squat, they have a little hard time with the correct movement, and they start to kind of dip everything forward that way, which puts a lot of pressure on the knees. We're gonna start by pushing our hips back a little more to really protect the knees today. A little bonus is it also gets the glutes engaged a little more, which is kind of nice because you get the backside as well as the thigh burn. So I'm gonna start you guys on either a bench or a chair. No problem if you don't have a bench, you don't need one, just get a nice sturdy chair. And this chair comes up about to like the back of my knee, maybe a little bit lower. So anywhere around this position is going to be a good height for you. You want to start sitting down. You want to make sure your knees are over your ankles. If you start with your feet back, well then your knees are over your toes and you're going to have the same problem. You're going to have knee pressure. If you walk your feet out a little bit, engage in the backside, squeeze your booty. Don't use your hands, you're gonna press up through your heels. I even have people kind of lift their toe in their shoe on the first few so they really feel their backside engaged. And you're just gonna stand and sit. We're gonna do 15 of these, that's 2. My counting is not always stellar. I tend to talk a lot and explain a lot while I work out, so you may wanna count your own reps or just follow along with me, but be prepared to do a few extra. I think this is 7. 8, if you don't want to use the bench and you feel confident in your squat form, you do not have to use the bench. I just find it's a really good guide as you get started. We'll say that's 12, 13, 14, and one more is 15. Exercise number 2, we're going to do a single arm bent over row. I'm going to grab a 10-pound dumbbell. If you are just getting started, you can start with a water bottle, you can start with a 5-pound dumbbell, anything that's going to get you a little resistance. You're going to use either a bench or a chair again, and you're going to stabilize yourself. So I'm going to put my left knee and my left hand on the bench. My right arm is going to hang to the side. I want to make sure my back is flat. I'm not jumping down this way. I'm keeping my core tight. I want to make sure my shoulders are square. I'm not jumping down this way. And then I'm going to row up for 1, 2. We're going to go 15. And with each of these moves, it's slow, it's controlled. You're not just trying to get through it as fast as you can. You work your muscles a lot more efficiently when you actually focus on the correct squeeze. So you should feel your back working, you should feel your biceps a little bit, back of the shoulder. Couple more here. And switch sides. So I'm just gonna turn around this way. And row again. Oftentimes people ask me like, well, I really just wanna shrink my stomach and I don't want my arms to get bulky, so why are we working arms? And I always say, like, you can't necessarily spot reduce fat, especially like belly fat, and so when you build muscle up throughout your whole body, you actually will burn more calories at rest than if you didn't have that muscle, because muscle burns more calories than fat does. So it's a great way to boost the metabolism. so that you can get yourself in a little calorie deficit, which is really what gets rid of that extra abdominal fat. Couple more here. Very good. All right, exercise number 3 of 6 we're gonna get into is gonna be a chest press. You can either do this on a bench. Since I know a lot of people don't have a bench at home, I'm gonna show you how to do it on the floor. I'm gonna have a 10-pounder in each hand. Again, choose your weight based off of your level of fitness. It might be that you start with 2 water bottles that are the same size. It might be that you start with 5-pounders. Do something that's gonna feel a little hard by the time you get to 15, but it's not gonna feel impossible. You wanna make sure that you don't lose form. So laying flat on your back, knees bent, elbows are gonna be touching the ground in line with the mid part of your chest. And you wanna engage into your chest muscles. The weights are over your elbows. They're not dumped in this way toward your chest. You're gonna press straight up in the air and bring the palms slightly together and then right back out wide again. Up, press and squeeze, back down. 15 of these. I'm trying to match my push, which is a concentric contraction, with my kind of decline back down to the ground, which is your eccentric contraction. The eccentric part is where oftentimes people will just do that and they just drop it really quickly. And we really are thinking about working the stability around the joints as well as the strength. So you want to make sure the tempo matches both directions. Those muscles are strong the whole time. I'm going to do one more. All right. That was number 3. Set those weights down carefully. We're going to go into exercise 4 from this position on the ground. If you're on the bench, I'm going to give you a second so you can get down to the floor. You want to have your heels about 12 to 16 inches from your butt. Hands can be at your sides. We're going to do a glute bridge, which works your glutes, your butt muscles, all the way through the hamstrings. You're going to tighten your glutes, you're going to tighten your stomach, you're going to lift your hips up toward the ceiling. It seems like such a basic move, but when you're really engaged in those muscles, you can just really feel them tightening the whole time. One of my favorite exercises. You may notice I'm keeping my toes slightly elevated. It helps me to really feel it in my glutes to do that. You can keep your foot flat. 15 of these. We're doing 15 of everything. So if you're counting your own reps, that's what we're going for. About 5 more. And 15. If you felt your back at all on those, it probably meant that you were trying to get up really high, but not actually squeezing your butt muscles to do it. And so when people try to really thrust themselves up, sometimes it dumps there. Just reset, tighten the stomach a little more, squeeze the butt cheeks, and don't go as high. You might start by going here. Again, we're just getting started, so your form may not be perfect, but your muscle engagement should be. So you just really want to make sure you're feeling it in the right areas, and then the height will come, or that perfect form or perfect position will come as long as those muscles are getting stronger and stronger. I just want to make sure that the pressure isn't dumping somewhere that it shouldn't. Okay, next move, number 5, we're going to do a kneeling or a standing, if your knees don't like this, bicep curl. I'm using my 10s. Choose your weight wisely. Biceps are kind of a smaller muscle group, so you might want to start with 5s. We're going to do a preacher curl, which means that your palms are facing forward. Make sure to squeeze your butt cheeks, your glutes, and your core so that you don't sway back at all. And then just slow and controlled up and down. You want to feel those biceps working. Your elbows should really stay in one spot. I'll show you from the side. You don't want to be swinging like this. A lot of people do that at the gym. It's not good. On all these moves, if you think about making your whole body kind of like a board, like nice and tight so it's not moving, you'll get good engagement in all the other areas in your body as well as the biceps. I'm going to say 3 more. I'm not 100% sure about that. 1 more. The actual number is not nearly as important as the engagement that you're getting. So like I said, if you're at 10 reps and your arms are so tired, just set the weights down. If you feel like you can go to 20, go to 20. It's whatever gets you a nice burn in that muscle. Last thing we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna grab my thighs for, we're gonna do a shoulder exercise, a shoulder scaption, which is, it's working a smaller muscle in the shoulder. And so you don't need a lot of weight to feel this one. You may even just do range of motion, like no weights to start, or like 2 or 3 pound weights. You want your thumbs up, kind of like a Y position. The weights are gonna be vertical. You're gonna lift the weights up in line with your shoulders and come down nice and controlled. Now I'm gonna show you a side view. A lot of people start this with their shoulders rounded. Then they get like a little clicking in the shoulder. It's because your shoulder's not in a good spot. You wanna pull them back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, then lift, and you know you're working the right area when the top of the shoulder kind of starts burning a little bit. No pain. You don't want to feel one shoulder way more than the other one. That's usually a sign that there's an imbalance in there. And then I would not do this with weights if you're feeling a lot of clicking or pain. I would just work on the proper range of motion without weights. Listen to your body. That's the most important thing about strength training. 2 more. All right, set those down. You get a minute break. So grab a quick sip of water, and we're gonna do round 2 in 1 minute. All right, hope everybody's feeling great after round 1. Let's go into round 2. So based off of how you felt after the last set, you can go up in weight or you can go down in weight. Just listen to your body. So we're just gonna do 2 rounds total today. If you wanna do a 3rd set, like you're feeling good after 2, 3 sets is great. You can just kind of rewind this section and repeat this one more time. Okay, so first move we're gonna go into is the squats. I'm gonna go back to the bench. I actually sprained my ankle on my daughter's hoverboard about 4 weeks ago, so regular squatting without the bench is kind of hard right now. So go ahead and get your position where your knees are over your ankles, not over your toes, and we've got 15 of these. We're gonna buzz through them. 1. Good, really stick that butt back. Feel those glutes squeeze as you stand. Squats are one of the best exercises. They work bunch of big muscle groups. They get the heart rate up. Eventually we can add things onto the squat, like a press at the top. But for now, we're just gonna get this down. If your tempo does not match mine, do not worry about that at all. Go your own pace. Couple more. Awesome. Grab your dumbbell for your single arm row. 15 aside. Line up, squeeze your abs, and row. Your elbows should come a little bit higher than your body line. Really pinching those back muscles. And when I say those back muscles, I'm talking about your lats, which are kind of like in your mid-back. You really shouldn't feel your low back at all here. One more, and switch to the other side. One of the things I haven't talked about yet is your breathing. Breath is super important when you're working out. It helps to keep those muscles oxygenated. It helps you to stay present in actually what you're doing. And so a really good tip that I heard when I was first starting out is match your exhale to the exertion. So here the exertion is that pull. So I would inhale down, exhale on the pull. If it doesn't match exactly, no big deal. Just make sure you're breathing. It's super common for people to hold their breath on these. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, next up is the chest press. Down on the ground or on a bench. Elbows in line with your chest. Press straight up. Make sure the weights stay in line with the chest and they don't start traveling over your chin or your forehead. I see that a lot as well. Here the exertion, like the out breath, is the push. So inhale down, push as you go up. When you're first starting out, all these little tips I think can be a little overwhelming to have to think about, but eventually it kind of becomes second nature. So just every time you work out, focus on one new thing that you're really gonna work on. Don't think you have to have everything perfect from the start. One more. Good. Set those weights down gently. We're gonna go right into the hip bridge. So just hands at your sides, pushing into your heels. Lift those hips up and down. Remember your glute squeeze. If you want a little added resistance, you can take your dumbbell, put it right over your hip bones. So you're pushing up a little extra weights. Your knees should stay parallel here. Try not to let them flare out to the sides. Those inner thighs actually are engaged a little bit here. And one more. Awesome. We're gonna come up onto either the knees or standing up. You've got your preacher curl. Exertion is gonna be coming up where you wanna exhale. I'll stop breathing hard, it's probably annoying. One more. Make sure those elbows are tight to your body. Set those weights down. Grab those lighter ones for your shoulder scaption. Remember, roll the shoulders back, pinch the shoulder blades, squeeze the glutes and the core, lift up and down. Five more. Excellent. Grab a quick sip of water. We're gonna get into just a couple of core exercises and then that's it for today. How do you feel? You have to leave some comments and let me know. It's okay if you don't feel dead. You know, it's okay if you do feel dead. The key is listening to what you need. And so if this felt like maybe a little bit on the easier side, that's great. Give it a day or two, see how your muscles respond. It might be that you feel like it's easy now and you get kind of sore the next couple of days. So that means it was, effective. You worked those muscles. And then I would probably repeat the same thing if it gave you some soreness. If you are a couple days into it, no soreness whatsoever, you can go up a little heavier in your dumbbells. You could also repeat a third set. So there's ways to add that load onto what you're doing or that resistance to make it stress the muscles a little bit more so you get a little more muscle growth and development as you get stronger and stronger. And And that's how it works. You don't have to go crazy for the first couple of workouts. Give yourself a little time to build up to it. Okay, let's get into some core. I'm gonna move the camera down a little bit, so give me a sec. Okay, we've almost made it. We're gonna finish with 2 core exercises. It's really not that bad. So the first exercise we're gonna do is called a pelvic tilt. This is an exercise that I believe that everybody should be taught in elementary school gym class, because it actually teaches you how to engage your core properly, as opposed to like the sit-ups and the crunches that we used to do all the time when we were younger. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay flat on your back, you're gonna have your knees bent, and you're gonna put your fingers on either side of your belly button. You are going to take a big inhale, and on your exhale, you're gonna push your rib cage down toward the ground. You're gonna flatten your back so that no room is underneath there to slide your hand. And as you do that, your hip bones roll in toward the bottom of your rib cage. So it's like the bottom of the rib cage and the hip bones are trying to cinch together using your deep core muscles. And then you're gonna inhale, relax everything. It's kind of a reset. Exhale. Squeeze again. You're gonna do this 10 times. Inhale. Stomach is big. Exhale. Squeeze your abs. You're feeling them deep down. Keep going. This takes a lot of concentration at first. People who have never done physical therapy, who have never learned this move, I find it takes a bit of practice. So I would practice these every day. And the more you do it, the more you're gonna feel abdominal muscles that you did not know you had. You have a really deep layer called your transversus abdominis, and it actually helps support your spine. It goes really deep in here. The top superficial layer, like those 6-pack abs, that's your rectus abdominis. They don't do a whole lot for functionality. So that's why it's important to get these deep core muscles tight. We'll end up working the other ones too, but I like starting off with this. Okay, I think that's about 10. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into a march with the pelvic tilt. So you're gonna hold in your pelvic tilt. We don't have to do the breathing this time. I still want you to breathe, but you don't have to do it in between each rep. But just make sure your hip bones are pulled in, your abs are tight. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lift one knee in a march up. Notice my knee angle doesn't change. I'm not collapsing my foot. I'm keeping about a 90-degree angle here. And then I'm gonna slowly lower it down using my deep core, my pelvic tilt. At no point in time will my back arch off the mat. So I'm gonna lift back up again and slowly lower down. I'm gonna have you do 10 of these aside, and you should really focus on feeling it right in here. If you're just kind of plopping your foot up and down, no ab engagement, it's very easy and you won't get a lot out of it. You've got a pelvic tilt first, lift up and down. If you're having a hard time feeling your pelvic tilt, it helps to cough or laugh. It naturally will put you into that position. So if you're like, I'm really not feeling my core, reset, start in the middle, deep breath in, cough, that'll put you into a pelvic tilt position, and then you're gonna switch to the other side. My clients feel silly doing that, but I make them do it if they can't feel it, because that will get you into the position that you wanna be in. Focus on those abs. How flat can you get your tummy? How flat can you push your back down to the mat? 10 per side. One more, I think. Good. And then let's do those each one more time. So I'm gonna take a big stretch for my core. Stretch it all out. Come back to the middle. 10 pelvic tilts. Inhale, exhale and squeeze. Keep going. If you feel like you got this down, you can make it a little harder by adding a little bit of an abdominal crunch at the top. Just make sure that you're holding in your pelvic tilt as you do it and that you're not feeling any pressure in your neck. If you are, keep your head flat. Just focus on the core engagement without the lifting right now. The lifting will come the tighter these get. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna go into a march. Same thing. If this feels easy, but you can feel your core engage. That's important. You want to feel like it's tightened. Then you can start to add a little abdominal crunch toward that knee. I think that's 5. I'm not rushing through this. 6, especially as I lower my foot down and making sure my back does not leave the mat. 1 more. Switch sides. You'll find core work gets as easy or hard as you want it to be based off of how intentionally you're holding your stomach in. 1 more. Good. Total body stretch. Oh, congratulations. You finished your first resistance training workout with me. Not so bad, was it? Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any requests for future workouts, any questions about anything related to health or fitness. I am here to help guide you. So let's build a community here. Positivity. We're all just gonna be working one day at a time toward our goals. And again, I hope you follow along.